What would you do if the person who called you family treated you like a stranger on the day they claimed to celebrate love? I stared at my phone, rain tapping against the window of my tiny apartment, the glow of the screen cutting through the dark like a knife. It was 1:17 a.m., and my sister had just posted her wedding thank you video, a 3-minute montage of laughter, tears, golden hour kisses, and over 200 smiling faces. But not one frame of me. No clip, no mention, not even a sorry I missed it in the caption. Just silence, as if I had never existed. My name is Josephine, and for 32 years, I wasn't just her sister, I was her protector, the one who stayed, home from school to care for her when she had pneumonia at 10, the one who forged Mom's signature so she could go to prom after being grounded, the one who paid half her college tuition when Dad's business failed, again. The one who held her hair back when she drank too much at her bachelorette party. And yet, she removed my name from her guest list, not by accident, not because of space, but because, as her fiancé put it when I finally got through to him, Claire said you bring negative energy. She didn't want anything to ruin her perfect day. Negative energy? Was it negative to remind her that she'd skipped her last ultrasound? Was it negative to say, "Are you sure you're ready?" when she spent $40,000 on flowers, but hadn't saved a cent for the baby she was carrying? Was it negative to be the only one who noticed her fiancé's eyes lingering too long on the bridesmaid in red? I tried to talk to her, begged her to reconsider, sent a simple text. I don't care about the dress or the seat. I just want to be there for you. You're my sister, her reply. You've always made everything about you, Josephine. This isn't your story. It's mine. And I get to decide who's part of it. Then she blocked me on every platform, even our family group chat. And just like that, I was erased. But here's the truth they never saw coming. Didn't need an invitation to be part of her life. Because long before she said I do, I had already woven myself into the foundation of her future. In ways she didn't even know. You see, Claire wasn't just reckless with emotions, she was reckless with money. Always had been. At 25, she maxed out 3 credit cards on designer bags and Bali trips. At 28, she lost $60,000 in a fake real estate investment scheme. And when she found out she was pregnant, instead of budgeting, she launched a luxury baby registry, $12,000 stroller, organic silk onesies, a crystal mobile. So when she found her dream house, a stunning modern farmhouse in the hills, $2.8 million glass walls, infinity pool, panoramic views, she panicked. She couldn't afford it. Not even close. But I could, and when she sobbed into my shoulder one night, saying, "I'll never give my baby the life I wanted," I did something I never thought I'd do. I offered to co-sign the mortgage, not as a gift, not as charity, but as a loan, with legal documentation, interest, and a lien on the property under my name too. She cried, hugged me, called me her angel. I signed the papers. But I made one condition. If you ever cut me off, emotionally, financially, legally, the agreement defaults. The loan becomes due. And if unpaid within 90 days, I take full ownership. She laughed. You're dramatic, Joe. I'd never cut you off. You're my sister. I smiled, but I still filed the contract with my lawyer and encrypted the copy. Because somewhere deep inside, I knew family love shouldn't come with conditions. But in our house, it always had. Months passed. She moved into the mansion, posted daily on Instagram, mama and baby in our dream home, invited everyone, cousins, coworkers, her yoga instructor, to tour the place, but never me. Not once. When the baby came, I sent a handmade quilt, stitched every night for weeks. She posted a photo of the crib, but cropped me out of the frame where my card was visible. When I tried to visit, the security guard at the gate said, "You're not on the approved list," even after birth, even as her postpartum anxiety spiraled, even when her husband worked late every night. I wasn't allowed in, because to her, I wasn't family anymore. I was toxic, overbearing, jealous of her happiness, and then Came the final twist, the one she never saw. The house? It wasn't just co-signed, it was leveraged. Under the loan agreement, any breach of emotional or familial contact, defined as complete severance without cause, triggered an automatic clause: acceleration of repayment terms. I had it worded carefully, legally airtight. Not emotional blackmail, a contractual safeguard. And when I received official confirmation from her lawyer, yes, she had once sent a letter stating I was no longer welcome in any aspect of her personal affairs. I activated it, sent formal notice. Loan balance $1.4 million plus interest due in 90 days. Her response? Laughter, then panic, then denial. It's not enforceable. She screamed over the phone after somehow getting my number. You can't do this. It's our home. My baby lives there. I gave you every chance, Claire, I said, calm. I begged to be part of your life. You chose to erase me. Now the contract decides. Her husband tried to fight it, hired a high-end attorney, but the paperwork was flawless, signed, notarized, witnessed, and worse, the house was under both names on the title, which meant, when she defaulted, ownership transferred, automatically, to me. 3 months later, I stood on the terrace of that $2.8 million house, holding a warm mug of tea, watching the sunrise paint the hills gold. The nursery was empty. They'd moved out in a rage, taking only what fit in 2 cars. The stroller? Left behind. The crystal mobile? Still hanging. And the guest room, the one she swore I'd never set foot in, now held boxes of donated baby clothes, ready to go to a women's shelter. I didn't sell the house. I didn't throw a party. I simply walked in, changed the locks, and began turning it into something new. A safe house. For mothers fleeing abuse. For sisters who've been cast aside. For women told they weren't positive enough. Just for speaking the truth. And on the wall beside the front door, I hung a simple wooden plaque. Hand-carved, 2 words. You're invited. 3 months after I walked through the glass doors of that $2.8 million house as its legal owner, I stood barefoot in the nursery at 5:47 a.m., sunlight spilling across the hardwood like liquid gold. The air smelled of lavender, fresh paint, and something else. Hope. A scent I hadn't known in years. On the wall, a framed quote read, "You are not unwanted. You are not too much. You are simply loved by the wrong people. This wasn't my dream home anymore. It was someone else's second chance. The transformation. Hadn't been fast. It hadn't been easy, but it had been necessary. After Claire and her husband moved out, in a storm of screaming lawyers and social media rants about evil sisters and family betrayal. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post. I didn't gloat. I called an architect, a contractor, a nonprofit, attorney, and turned the mansion into the Haven House, a safe residence for mothers escaping domestic abuse, financial control, or familial rejection. Women who'd been told they were dramatic for setting boundaries. Girls who were cut off for speaking truth. New moms with nowhere to go, because I knew what it felt like to be erased, and I refused to let another woman drown in that silence. But the deeper the healing began, the louder the past echoed. One rainy Tuesday, I found a letter slipped under my door. No stamp, no envelope, just a single sheet of paper, folded neatly, written in Claire's handwriting. The same looping script she used in childhood. Notes we passed in church, I almost didn't open it. Not because I was afraid, but because I finally understood something terrifying. Cutting someone off doesn't mean they stop living inside you. So I sat by the window, tea cooling beside me, and read. Joe, I don't know if you'll even read this. Probably not. You've always been better at closing doors than opening them, but I need to say it. I saw the news article about Haven House. Saw the interview where you said, some families don't protect you. They poison you. And they showed a photo of the nursery, our nursery, and I broke because that room was supposed to be for my baby. But you made it bigger than me, bigger than us, and I hate that I'm jealous of you for doing what I never could. I thought cutting you off made me strong, but it just made me small. Smaller every day, because without you questioning things, no one did. You warned me about Daniel's late nights. Said his texts were too casual with Sarah from work. I called you paranoid. Last month, I found photos on his cloud. Him and her. In our bed, he moved out. Took nothing but his clothes and a suitcase full of lies. And when I tried to call Mom and Dad for help, Mom said, maybe if you hadn't treated Josephine so badly, you'd have someone to lean on now. They chose you, Joe, not me. And that's when I realized you weren't the sister who ruined my wedding. You were the one who tried to save me from my own blindness. I lost the house. I lost my marriage. I almost lost my baby to stress-induced complications. But worst of all, I lost you, and now I don't know how to get back in. So I'm asking, not as your sister, but as a woman who finally sees. Can I come in? I read it 3 times, then set it down. No, because I didn't feel anything. But because feeling everything at once can paralyze. You, grief for the years we lost. Anger for the way she humiliated me. Pity for the life she built on illusion, and beneath it all, a quiet, stubborn love. The kind that survives betrayal. The kind that remembers bedtime stories, shared ice creams, whispered secrets under blankets. We weren't just sisters. We were survivors of the same broken home. Mom's favoritism. Dad's silence. The constant message, Claire is fragile. Josephine can handle it. I was the rock. She was the flower. But rocks bleed too, and flowers can grow thorns. I didn't reply to the letter. Not that day. Not the next. Instead, I did something she'd never expect. I visited her. Not at her new apartment, a cramped 1-bedroom above a laundromat, far from the hills she once ruled, but to her baby's pediatrician appointment. I waited outside the clinic. When she came out, carrying a sleeping infant in a car seat, eyes tired, hair pulled back, no makeup, no designer bag, just a worn-out mom trying to survive, I stepped forward. She froze. Her breath caught. For a second, I saw the girl I used to braid hair for. The one I stayed up with during thunderstorms. The one I covered for when she snuck out. Now she looked at me like I was a ghost. Joe, she whispered. I didn't hug her. I didn't scold her. I just said, you left your keys in the car. She blinked. What? The driver's side door was open. Keys in the ignition. Anyone could have taken it. She stared at me. Then tears spilled over. Not dramatic. Not performative. Just silent, shaking sobs. I can't do this alone, she said. I keep forgetting things. I haven't slept in days. Daniel took the baby monitor. I don't even have formula money most weeks. I looked at her. At the woman who once blocked me for saying, are you sure about him? And I said, you should have listened. She nodded, crying harder. I know. I was stupid. I was vain. I thought love was glamour and perfection. I didn't want anyone reminding me of the mess underneath. And so, you cut out the mirror, I said. She looked up. Yes. Silence, then. I don't want the house back, Joe. I know I don't deserve it. But can my son have a safe place to visit his aunt? Can I learn how to be better without pretending I was never wrong? I studied her. Not the queen of the hilltop mansion, but the broken mother holding her child like he was the only thing keeping her alive. And I realized redemption isn't about being forgiven. It's about being honest. So I reached into my bag and handed her a key. Not to the mansion, to Haven House's guest cottage. A small, private unit behind the main house, renovated for transitional stays. You can stay there, I said. 6 months, free, counseling included. Job placement support. Childcare while you rebuild, she gasped. Why? Because family isn't earned by perfection, I said. It's rebuilt through accountability. If you're willing to face what you did, truly face it, then yes. You can come in. Tears streamed down her face. And, can I call you sister? I paused, then softly, you never stopped being mine. You just forgot how to act like it. Weeks passed. She moved in quietly. Started therapy, applied for jobs, even volunteered at Haven House, helping other moms organize resumes. One night, I found her sitting on the porch, rocking her baby to sleep, humming a lullaby I used to sing to her when we were kids. I joined her. No words, just the sound of crickets and distant wind chimes. Finally, she said, I filed for divorce. Finalized the papers today. I nodded. And I transferred the remaining balance of the loan to a trust, she added, for the Haven House expansion. It's not all of it, but it's a start. I looked at her. That wasn't required. No, she said, but it's right. Then she turned to me. Do you think we can ever go back to how we were? I shook my head. No, but maybe we don't need to. Maybe we were never meant to be close like before. Maybe we were meant to break, so we could rebuild something truer. She smiled. Small, fragile, real. And for the first time in years, I hugged her, not tightly, not dramatically, but fully, like two women who had survived the same war. But the deepest twist? It came 3 months later, while reviewing old security footage from the mansion. Before the transition to Haven House, I noticed something strange. Daniel, Claire's husband, entering the house at odd hours. Always late, always alone, always heading straight to the study. Curious, I pulled the backup files and found it. A hidden folder on the home server, password protected, labeled Project Phoenix. Inside, photos, texts, hotel receipts, and a signed prenuptial agreement, one Claire had never seen, stating that in the event of divorce, she would receive nothing. No house, no savings. No alimony. Daniel wasn't just cheating, he was planning to erase her financially. And the final document? A property transfer draft, dated 1 week before the wedding, attempting to move the $2.8 million house into a shell corporation under his name only. If I hadn't co-signed, she would have lost everything, and she would have had no legal claim. I stared at the screen, then printed it all and walked it straight to Claire. She read it in silence, then collapsed onto the couch, clutching her son, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. He was going to take everything, she whispered. My home, my future, even my baby's inheritance. I sat beside her and said, I didn't save you. Claire, you saved yourself by choosing a sister who wouldn't look away. Today, Haven House supports 12 women a year. We've helped 8 find jobs, 3 launch businesses, 1 become a counselor. And Claire? She works part-time as a peer support guide, helps new moms navigate co-parenting, financial recovery, emotional healing. Her Instagram now shows real moments. Messy buns, spit-up stains, honest captions about postpartum depression and regret. No filters, just truth. And last week, she invited me to her son's first birthday. Not at some luxury venue, but in the backyard of Haven House. I arrived early, set up chairs, brought the cake, and when she saw me, she didn't say, "You look nice." She said, "Thank you for staying." I pulled her into a hug and whispered, "I was always here. You just couldn't see me." Later, as the sun dipped below the hills, she handed me a small box. Inside, a silver locket, engraved on the back, "To Joe, the sister who taught me that love doesn't silence truth. It survives it." I opened it. 2 tiny photos. One of us as girls, arms around each other, smiling. The other, me, standing in front of Haven House, holding a sign that says, "You're invited." Tears filled my eyes, not because I'd won, but because I'd finally been seen. Was I wrong to enforce the contract? Or did she push me too far? If you've ever been uninvited from a family event for speaking the truth, if you've ever been called toxic for setting a boundary, if you've ever rebuilt your life from the wreckage of betrayal, know this: being shut out doesn't make you unworthy. It makes you the one who saw clearly. And sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't taking back a house, it's turning it into a home for others who were never welcomed.